Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting tutorial on the Cambridge International AS and A-Level IT paper 4. This time around we are concentrating on a specimen paper which was provided for examination from 2022. And as usual, I'm going to concentrate on the graphic design aspect. So let's dive in. Our focus this time around will be on question 2, question 3, question 4, 5, 6, and lastly question 7. So let's begin. It says use the frame JPG file to create an image of the frame like this. The picture area must be transparent. Save the image as pframe followed by your center number _ candidate number. And it's been given we've been given an example of how to save our file. So let's go into Photoshop. I've already opened the frame JPEG which we are supposed to cut out. Now we can use various tools at our disposal. We can use the magic wand tool. We can use a quick selection tool. So let's try using the quick selection tool. I'm making my selection. Just to get a frame. You see, you can get it all right, but instead of selecting the frame, it ends up selecting the green space, so it's not as accurate as you want. So I normally prefer using the pen tool because this time around we've been given the edges of what we are selecting is not as complex, so we can use the pen tool to simply create our selection. So I select my pen tool, or P for short, and I go to the corners of each frame, corners of the frame, sorry, and I select each corner. If you're not sure of getting this right, you can always zoom in and make your selection. So the next thing you do is right click in the middle of your selection and select make selection. Make sure the feather radius is 0 and click OK. Now what this does is it selects the frame for you and everything that is within it. Now we want to make an inverted selection because we want to take out everything that is outside the frame. So we press Shift, Control, and I. What it does is it makes an inverted selection, I for inverted, and selects everything that is outside the frame. So with this, you can simply press delete on your keyboard and everything goes away. Now you can do the same for the middle or the content of the frame. So we are taking out the picture this time around. So this time around I'm going to zoom in a bit by pressing Control and the plus sign on your keyboard. Control and plus on the keyboard. And I'm going to go into Window and select Navigator. Now the navigator gives me a preview of where I'm actually looking at. So when you see this red demarcation is my screen. So my focus is on this corner, and that is what is showing here. So with my pen tool still selected, click in the corner, come to the navigator, drag it to this side so that I can see the next corner. Click on that corner as well, bring my navigator downwards, click on this corner to the left bottom, click in that corner as well, then send it back to the top to where it started from. Now before you click to join, make sure you see this small circle indicating that you are about to join where you started from. Now I'm going to press Ctrl and 0 to come back to our normal size, and then click in the middle and say make selection, just as we did for the first one, but this time around we are not going to make an inversion. You press delete and then everything is gone within your frame. Now you can save this as instructed. Let's check again. Save the image as P frame followed by a. So I'm going to use the example as my file name. File, save as, and I'm going to put this here. Now there's one thing before we save. Let's have a look at the question. It says the picture area must be transparent. Now for transparency we have to use portable network graphics or PNG to save your file. So let's go back and save our file as a PNG. So put in my name and we look for PNG. PNG is right here. And then you click save. Now in instances where you don't see PNG listed among the options here, it means you are working in a different mode. Let me quickly teach you that. Go to image mode. It means you are working probably in CMYK mode. Let's assume you are working in CMYK mode. I've changed it now, and let's go to save as. So you see there's no portable network graphics in the list. So let's cancel. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z to change back to my RGB mode. So we are back in RGB, and then we save our work. Save as. Where's the PNG? Here. Enter your name and save. So we are done with question 2. We can move on to question 3. It said we should replace the sky in the sunshine JPEG image with the background new sky. So all these things, all these files have already been provided in the source file folder, and that is where I am picking them from. So let's dive back into Photoshop, continue with question 3. Okay, so for question 3, we are supposed to open Sunshine JPEG and new sky. as shown. Okay, so going to file, going to open Sunshine, and then I'm going to look for New Sky. New Sky is also here, and then open. So I'll unlock them by clicking on the padlocks by the sides, and this is the image we are going to deal with. So we are supposed to remove the sky and replace it with this one, the sunset sort of. Now the first thing that comes to mind is to use one of the selection tools to select the sky and probably delete it out and replace it with a new sky. So I'm going to try using the magic wand. Click in this area. You see, it can't give you a complete selection because there are different shades of the sky in here. Now let's try using the quick selection tool. So we can run that around. Let me try reducing the brush size. See that, try as we could, you might get it, but you might not get a perfect selection around the leaves of the tree, and you have difficulties dealing with the sky behind the gate. So I'm going to press Ctrl Z to come back to our normal sky, and here's a quick trick on how to deal with this. Now we have the sky here and the dominant color is blue. So we're going to use the blend if tool to remove everything blue within this section of the image. So to do that, first of all, I'm going to duplicate the layer so that in case of anything we don't destroy the image, the original image. You can always load it back anyway. And next thing is I'm going to double click on the layer, and it pops up the layer style window. Now when you look here, we have blending options. Make sure this is selected, or it's selected this, yeah, just this. And then we come down here to blend if. Let me move it to the side so you see what happens, and select blue because that's our dominant color. And the handle on the far right, we drag it to our left. First of all, let's cancel this and make sure this is not showing, this one. Do that again. Select blue and drag your handle down so it's able to make a better selection. Look at what happens behind the gate. Takes out everything blue. It might not be perfect, but I think this one does a better job than the quick selection tool. And one thing you also realize is parts of the pool and the floor have also been affected. So to solve this problem, let's go back to our work. I just cancel it and make sure this one appears. Now we're going to pick our pen tool once again and make sure we select the area within which we want the blue to function. So you can make your selection. Make selection. Go to edit, copy, edit once again, paste special, and paste in place. So when you come down to your layers panel, you realize that you have an extra layer which contains the upper part of your image. Now we can deal with this section alone by double clicking. Selecting blue from there, blend it once again and dragging it down. So for us to see the effect, let me click cancel. For us to see the effect, we will have to disable these ones first. Nice. Now double click, and drag down. I think this is okay. And then click OK. Now before we make the lower panels appear, we realize that when you make them appear, everything appears once again. Before you make them appear, hold down Control and click on the layer you have just worked on. It creates these boundaries around it, and then enable the layer below, select it as well, and press delete. Now to remove the matching ants, press Ctrl D. Now realize that there's a tiny line in between the two. So you have the top and then the bottom. So to fix that, select the bottom layer and press the up arrow key once, just once. So when you did that, you realize that the line is gone. Our next thing is we can bring in our new sky image, drag and bring it behind, or bring it to this layer and place it behind all the layers. So after we've dragged and dropped it, we can resize it. I'm going to press Ctrl and the minus key to reduce the size of the artboard. Select, make sure the layer is selected, the new sky layer. Press Ctrl T for resizing, and resize the sky image behind everything, and click on the correct sign, and then you're good to go. So we were asked to save it as sunset. So I'm just going to select, copy, go to File, Save As. It's going to be a JPEG this time around, and then paste my name there and say Save. So we are done with question 3. We can move on to question 4.